Hey everyone, this is Ron with BridgeCom Systems. My amateur radio call sign is Kilo Charlie 0 Quebec Victor Tango. I've got an extra class license and I am here to help you communicate with radio. Anyway, we're located in Smithville, Missouri in the middle of the United States, and it is wintertime here. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning and we're glad you're here. We do these live streams every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, and our hope is that we can continue to help you in your journey with radio. We've been focusing for quite a while now on doing DMR, in particular the 878, which made by Anytone. Got this radio over here on the post that you'll be able to see, and we're excited to have you. We are actively showing you how to connect your radio to a DMR repeater or to a hotspot. And today I'm going to focus on connecting this radio here through to my local repeater, but I'm going to show a couple of repeaters that I've received inquiry about on our Facebook group page, where some guys have shown or have talked about having some issues with connecting to their repeaters. But before I get into that, I want to quickly go over some housekeeping stuff. We are doing probably one of the best giveaways we've ever done. I think I lost my mind, folks. We call it the Ultimate Ham Radio Giveaway. And just to go through these items that we're doing a giveaway, and by the way, why do we do these giveaways? Well, you guys all have been to ham fests, and I've been to several, and typically at the end of the ham fest is a prize drawing where they have all kinds of giveaways, and we're doing the same thing. Right now we can't go to a lot of ham fests, so we're doing that here, and it creates a lot of interest in our company, and also it just creates a lot of buzz about the products that we're giving away. And it's just a lot of goodwill. And anyway, what we're doing, we're giving away an Anytone 578 tri-band mobile radio, a Anytone 878 radio like we're going to demo today, a SkyBridge Plus dual band digital hotspot. We're going to install the USA and international supercode plugs in both radios. So there'll be plug and play programming for both the radios and the hotspot. And this is the cool part. We're also giving away in this thing a Xiegu G90 HF transceiver. So we're not just DMR, we're HF. And several accessories plus free shipping. Total value of $2,529.88. And I'm going to have my man here put the link in the notes on the YouTube and Facebook from which we're simulcasting to where you can enter this giveaway. I think the giveaway is going to be done on Valentine's Day, February 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So those details are in there. But yeah, get an entry in and share the word. But yeah, I've lost my mind. That's one heck of a giveaway. So anyway, yeah, we help you communicate using radio. And this live stream, I've got some show notes here, and they should be posted in the comments, and I'll have my guy there, Justin, post these show notes so that you can link to them and follow along with me as we go through what we're going to do today. But today I'm going to focus on how I'd program my 878 Plus to connect to two different DMR repeaters in two different locations. Two members of our BridgeCom Systems official group page have indicated they're unable to place a call through these repeaters. And I'm going to basically act as if I'm in that area and what I would do to program those repeaters. Just reading some comments coming through. S. Eagle, I don't know what your call sign is, my friend. Oh, you're in St. Louis, not too far from here. But yeah, the whole world has somewhat lost its mind, it seems. So he gave me permission to lose my mind. Anyway, if you're not a member of our Facebook group page, I want to invite you to submit a membership. There's a link here in the show notes for which you can go there, and I just want to invite you. There's, I think, over 8,000 people in that group right now, and we invite you to come along and hang out with us. There's a lot of content there. A lot of good folks are in there contributing, and we invite you to join in. It's a great group. I'm constantly attending. I scour the group on occasion. In fact, this is where I get a lot of the content that I talk to you about live streams, because I want to know what you guys are having problems with, see if I can address them. And also we do have a YouTube channel, and that's how some of you guys are seeing us today, and I want to invite you to subscribe to that YouTube channel as well. We've got a lot of content that we put out regularly, a lot of how-to videos, some valuetainment as well, and we're continuously growing and expanding on that. And we are a growing company. We just hired a couple more techs this past week. We are excited about the growth we're experiencing. We definitely want to help you, and it's because of you guys joining with us on this journey that we're able to do that. And so we thank you for that. Okay, so the first repeater we're going to look at is in this link here, and I'm going to have Joe jump over into have me jump over into the computer here, and I am going to click on that link. Now, the first thing you want to do, and I say this over and over again, is you got to go to radioid.net and get you a DMR ID. So that's the first step, okay? And the next step for finding a repeater is you want to go to repeaterbook.com, and you want to look up the credentials of the repeater that you're interested in. You want to find a repeater, okay? Now we've already got a couple repeaters here that we know about. And the first one, and I'll give you some backstory on this here, but I'm going to go ahead and click on this and open it in a new tab, and this is going to take me to this repeater that we're going to profile here, and we're going to make effort to talk to this repeater. Now it's located in Richfield, Ohio. Now the gentleman that I've been dealing with, his name's Dave Nudie. He's in Cleveland, Ohio. His call sign is Kilo Delta 8 Delta Lima Tango. That's KD8 DLT. I've already spoken to him. He's an amateur extra. He's actually a police officer. I went and looked him up. He's a police officer in Cleveland. Seems like a great guy. We've done some exchange back and forth, and he says that he's had some problems getting into this repeater. He did get a hot spot, so he's not dead in the water, but he was trying to get into this repeater, and I was just like, well, I want to see if I can get in it, or show you how to do that, and then maybe I can have a QSO with somebody there. So Dave has revealed the repeater that he has, trying to get that he's trying to get a hold of. So what do you want to do? What's the first thing you want to do when you're trying to get into a local repeater? Well, first of all, you need to know where it's at, and are you in proximity to that repeater? Now, if you look on repeaterbook.com here and look at this page, you're going to see on the right side of the screen a coverage map. Okay, now the exact coordinates of the repeater are known, and the coverage circle does not account for propagation anomalies. So this is a rough estimate of what kind of area that this repeater covers. And so you can expand out and you kind of get an idea of what's going on here. I think it'll eventually I think that should slowly propagate open. Okay, maybe not. Okay, well, you see he's near Cleveland, Ohio. All right, so the first question you want to ask is, are you in proximity to the repeater? Okay, that's a big challenge if you're on the fringe, because with digital, you're either in or out. You either can get the repeater or you can't. And there's nothing like analog where you'll get static as you move away from the channel or the station. Okay, the second thing you want to look at is, what DMR network is this repeater on? Okay, now all of this information that I'm going to go through is actually contained on these pages for these repeaters. Okay, so we can see over here on the left side that the color code, the DMR ID, and the IPSC network. Now IPSC stands for IP Site Connect. It's kind of a misnomer, but this isn't an IP Site Connect repeater, because I can tell it says BM, which stands for Brandmeister. So I know that this repeater is on the Brandmeister network, which is key, because you have a lot of networks out there. You want to know what repeater network it's on, and we've got several. We got Brandmeister is one. You've got TGIF is another. You've got DCI, which we're going to look at here soon, which is built around a certain type of networking scheme, commonly known in the world as the C bridge. Okay, Brandmeister is their own server technology, and I believe TGIF is as well. They've got their own server that manage that. And generally speaking, these networks aren't connected together unless somebody does some creative ways of linking them together, okay? And that can be done. I'm not going to get into that today because I'm still foggy on that myself, but I know that guys have been able to connect Brandmeister to, let's say, DMR Mark, okay? I think there's ways to connect all those, but I don't know how to do that yet. And I know there's things called, like, I think it's called a homebrew protocol, which folks have done that. So I'll let that set aside for now. So let's get back to the station here. We can see that the station is on the Brandmeister network. Okay, so that's key. We can see here that there's what look like 4 static talk groups. Okay, now a talk group is a basically it's like a telephone number, if you will. To call in, you can talk to a bunch of people using that particular talk group ID, and I'll show you how to program it. But that's, for example, if I want to talk to Ohio, what says here, Ohio statewide on 3139, okay, it's going to come out on slot 2 of this repeater. Now, each repeater for DMR has 2 time slots, time slot 1 and time slot 2. They can handle 2 different calls at one time. And so we know these, if a call comes in on 3139, this repeater is going to key up. Okay, so it's on the Ohio statewide slot 2. So if on the Brandmeister network, if a call goes out on 3139, you're going to light this repeater up. Same thing for 31390 Ohio TAC. TAC stands for Talk Around Channel, and it's on slot 2 as well. You've got 31391, which is Northeast Ohio. That's slot 2. That's a talk group, and we could try and build a code, add that to our code plug list. And then you've got 31395 on ARES, which stands for Amateur Radio Emergency Service, which we're not going to use that, but that's slot 2. So, but if you're involved in ARES or involved in emergency management in your locale, they've got a dedicated talk group for that that particular group of folks. Okay, we can see that the repeater's station ID is Kilo Alpha 8 Oscar Alpha Delta. It's an open repeater, so that means that the system operator has said, hey, anybody can use this. I've made it available. And okay, and this system operator has kindly provided some information. It's a very high-profile machine and covers a large portion of northeastern Ohio. Please limit connecting to network talk groups to time slot 2 only. So that's key. You want to make sure you respect this. And then keeping slot 1 open for local traffic only. The Ohio talk group is carried full-time on time slot. It's supposed to be 2. The trustee should register for repeater. Okay, but that's just some housekeeping work. Okay, so and they also have a net, which is cool. So they have an Ohio DMR net on top group 3139 on, it looks like tonight at, looks like 6:30 Central. I believe that'd be, I think, oh wait, Ohio's Eastern. Yeah. Is that 8:30? 8:30. Okay, sorry, 8:30. All right, so anyway, we got the TXRX pair. The downlink is the transmit of the repeater, and the uplink is the receive of the repeater. Okay, so that's going to get flip-flopped in our radio. And the color code, if you look on our, these are the, the credentials of the repeater. We know that the repeater's open. We know the TXRX pair because it says it right here. The color code, which is extremely important, you're going to want to know. We're going to need to know the color code and the time slot, okay? Now, the color code is 7 on this repeater. That is like your PL tone from the analog world, okay? To open a repeater, it's like your squelch mechanism. And the color code's 7. And as we learned earlier, the system operators respectfully asked to keep network talk groups to time slot 2. So I'm going to talk about time slot 2 because I'm going to use that when I built this code plug for Dave, or how he would build up his channel. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to talk through my local repeater and see if I can raise up that repeater from here, which is something we can do. Okay, and so we visited the permitted time slots. TS1, according to this information, is for local traffic only, and time slot 2 is for network traffic. So we're going to concentrate on network traffic. And permitted talk groups, we can see that there's static talk groups here. With Brandmeister, pretty much all talk groups are permitted, okay? But in this case, the static ones mean that if a call is initiated from an external network source, it's going to raise up that repeater no matter what. So like those those 4 talk groups we talked about, 3139, 31390, 391, and 395. If a call comes in on a network on those talk groups, this repeater is supposed to start transmitting. But other than that, a local user can key up into time slot 2 to another talk group and make it what's called auto-static. And what that means is that repeater, depending on how it's programmed, will stay connected to a remote site for, I believe, approximately 15 minutes. And then it'll automatically go back to an idle state, okay? Now, that's from the local side. But if I want to key into this, I should be able to key this repeater up from Missouri all the way into Ohio, right here. Okay. So, we're going to check out the parrot first on my end, as well as what he should do on his end. So, I'm going to reference this periodically, but in the meantime, I'm going to jump over to the computer here, and I am going to open my CPS so that I can set this up. And I've got my programming table here. I've got my 878 Plus over here on the stand, so you all can see it. And I want to go ahead and start this. Now, hopefully you've got your programming software installed on your Windows machine or your Mac if you're emulating Windows. And I will answer questions, guys. I'm going to just stay the course here on getting this repeater program, but I do see questions coming in, and of course Justin is making note of these, and we'll hit these at the end of the session. But I want to get through this so that you guys have something to work with. So I'm not going to start from scratch here. I've got a video that I did last week where I built up the channel from scratch. We'll put that link in the show notes, but there is another video from the live stream. I am going to read this, so I'm just going to start from there and build up, effectively fatten up this code plug that I'm working on to handle Dave's repeater here, which we just went over. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure, whoops, I want to make sure I got the right COM port set. Set COM. I know I'm on COM 3 because I've done it several times, and now I'm going to read from the radio. Okay. All right. So I have 4 channels in here already. Okay. And these are channels to talk on the local repeater that I have in proximity to me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to act as if I'm Dave and program up the repeater here that we just got done talking about. Okay, this repeater. Now this is what I would do. So I'm going to click on number 5 and I'm going to open this up. It's totally blank, and I'm going to call. We know that this repeater is KA8OAD. So I'm going to put an alpha tag on it, KA8OAD. The receive frequency is the downlink. So that's 444.5125 and 449 plus 5 offset, 5125. Okay. The DMR mode is repeater. Okay. and the contact, which we've not made, is going to be right here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this real quick. Well, here, let me go ahead and put the color code as 7, and we want time slot 2. Okay, now keep that, remember what he said, time slot 2, and the color code is 7. This is very important. And of course, my radio ID is my DMR ID. Okay, and I'm going to close this real quick. Now I'm going to jump back because I've got to go create the talk group in my contact list. So I'm going to go over here to the digital section on the left side of the screen, and I want to, my radio ID list at the very top, that's where you put your DMR ID, okay? And you can see mine is 3129172, and that's where you'd put your DMR ID. You have to have that before you can play in the sandbox. Okay, so these are the talk groups that I've created thus far. So we're going to add a talk group here, and we're going to call it, I'm going to put 2 of them in here. Actually, I'll put all 3 of these in here. I'll put in 3139, 31390, and 390 and 391. I'll do all 3 of them. Okay, so this is going to be, the name of it is just Ohio. Now I'm building this from scratch, but you can go out and get a list and import it to the your radio if you want, but I'm not going to get into that today. I want to show you guys how to build a code plug so you understand the nuts and bolts of things. It is a group call. Okay, the ID is 3139. Is that right? Yeah, 3139. Perfect. So I got that in there. I'm going to add another one. This is going to be Ohio TAC. It's a group call, and it is 31390. Now, let me back up a minute. The repeater I'm talking through is a Brandmeister repeater. So I know that I can be networked to this other Brandmeister repeater. That's key right now. I don't want to miss that point. The only way I can talk to Dave from Kansas City to Ohio is because we're on Brandmeister in this case. We're using the Brandmeister network. So that's a key point to make. Okay, the next one is Northeast Ohio. So I'm going to call this Northeast Ohio group call. And this is 31393. No, 31391. Okay. Okay, so I've added all 3 of these talk groups. Now, I want to go back to my channel listings, and I am going to call the channel. It's on KA8D, Kilo Alpha 8, Oscar Alpha Delta, and I'm going to put this as Ohio. I'm going to make some more intelligence. So then I'm going to click on this, and that's a group call on 3139. Okay. So to talk on Ohio statewide on this repeater, this is what you need. You need 444, 5125, 449.5125. You have to have the contact is Ohio statewide. The color code of this repeater is 7. The time slot is 2. And you got all that from this page here. Okay. So I should be good to go on this. Now I'm going to click OK here, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it twice because I'm going to add. I want to change this to Ohio TAC, and I'm going to change my talk group over here. There. Now that all this stuff should stay the same. Okay. And then I'm going to change this one to Northeast Ohio. And I'm always talking to this repeater. Okay. Now, two other things I would do. I'm going to create 2 more channels for Dave. I want him to create 2 more channels for this repeater. And this is key for any type of zone that you want to create. Now, zone is a collection of channels, and I'm going to show him this here real quick. So I'm going to copy this again, and I'm going to paste it. Maybe, whoops, copy, paste. Okay. Now I want a parrot. You need a parrot now because we want to test the connection first. So we want parrot. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to add another contact, and the parrot's the same for all these repeaters on Brandmeister. The talk group number is 9990, and it is a private call. Okay, and you can see I just clicked on it over here on the right side of my screen. It says parrot 9990. It's a private call. When you set that up, like I did here for the Ohio TAC, Ohio, and Northeast Ohio. So I want a private call for the parrot. And then the next one is I want to paste this channel again, and I want the disconnect. You always want to have a disconnect for a repeater that you're on. Now, like I said earlier, some of these talk groups are static, meaning they'll be raised at all times if a talk group comes in on a repeater. But other times when you're actually initiating a call with a repeater and you start the conversation, the repeater connects with the network, and it's called autostatic, and that means it's there for a brief time, and it's connected based on you initiating a transmission. Now, let's say you don't communicate, or you just open up the channel so that you can listen to, let's say, a net or something like that. It typically goes down in 15 minutes, and then you have to reconnect. You might see, well, why do, it looks like a lot of people are ka-chunking the system. This happens oftentimes on Talk Group 91, the worldwide, where people just somewhat open the channel so that they can start getting audio traffic to flow. It's kind of annoying, but unless you make a contact, you probably want to say, CQ your call sign, and just let everybody know. And if the channel is busy, it's not going to handle your call anyway, but at least you're going to get the channel open. And then it'll cut down on all these kerchunks that you might experience. I mean, at least you have a valid call taking place versus just something to open the channel. So back to this, I'm going to add the disconnect, because that's why you want to disconnect when you're done having a QSO and it's not hit 15 minutes. This is a quick way to release the resource. Okay, so we want to disconnect. So what I did was I added 5 channels to the to my channel list here, and now I want to create a zone for this repeater. Okay, so we want to go up here where it says zone, and we have a list of zones that are possible. You can see I created a KCI zone, and I want to add another one, and I'm just going to call it the KA8OAD zone. KA8OAD zone. Okay. Whoops. Hope I didn't mess that up. All right, and now I'm going to put those 5 channels in this zone. You have to add your channels to a zone. If you don't add them to a zone, you won't ever see them. Okay. Now, this is as far as I can go with this, because obviously I can't communicate on this repeater because I'm not in proximity, but this is what Dave should do. He should create that very channel, or all those 5 channels, and make them just like that. And again, this is being recorded, so you can go back and listen to what I just said, but those 5 channels are available, and that should talk to that repeater. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up those same talk groups, the 3 talk groups for Ohio. I'm going to set those up so that I can talk to them on my repeater here, or the repeater I have. So I'm going to go back to channels, the channel list, and I'm going to copy one of these repeaters, the repeater frequency pair up here, and I'm going to copy that here. Okay, now this is the repeater I have access to here, 444.4625, okay, and I know it's time slot 1. Now this is on the backyard repeater group, color code 4, but I'm going to change the contact to Ohio, and they want time slot 1. And just real quick, we'll go to byrg.net. This is the repeater network that I'm on here locally. And it's populating this web page. Okay. And I'm going to go down here, and there's a link here, operating on the BYRG DMR repeaters. Okay. The only permitted talk group on time slot 2 is 31201. All others use time slot 1. So that's why I'm using time slot 1. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and populate it. This is going to be KCI. I'm going to call it Ohio. I've got the Ohio talk group, color code 4, time slot 1. Because that's the credentials for that repeater. Okay. And then I'm going to add Ohio. I'm going to make 2 more channels. I'm going to call this Ohio TAC. We're going to add that contact here, right there, group call 31390. And then I'm going to add the Northeast Ohio, Ohio Northeast. Well, I can change that to okay, and that's there. So I've got 3 new channels. Okay, so now I want to go to, oops, I see a bug there. There's a 1 there, I don't need that. Okay. All right, so now I'm going back to my zone. I got my KCI zone that I just created, and I'm going to add those KCI Ohio, Ohio TAC, and Northeast Ohio. So I'm going to click OK. All right, at this point, I think I'm good to go. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and write this to my radio, and let's see what happens. And I'm really happy to be training you guys on this stuff right now. I'm hoping this clears a lot of confusion about what's going on, and I hope I don't create more confusion. So I'm writing to the radio. Jump over here to the radio so you can see what's happening. Copying data to the radio, please wait, do not power off. That's good. Okay. Got my alpha tag there for my radio, so I know it's me. Okay, now I'm going to unplug this because I can't hear the, make sure you, if you ever wonder why your radio, you can't hear it, make sure you unplug the programming cable, otherwise it won't work, you won't hear nothing. Okay, so going back to the channel listings, I'm actually created this new zone, okay, and your up and down button, as you can see right here, is how you change zones. And you can see that I'm in the Kilo Alpha 8 OAD zone, and that's Ohio statewide. There's Ohio Talk Around channel. There's Northeast Ohio, and there's the Parrot. Okay. Now, it looks like there's some channel activity. I don't know what this repeater is in my area, but I know what it is over there. But I just set that up so that Dave knows what to do here. Okay, so but that's what he should see, and then he should have, yeah, Northeast Ohio, whoops, Ohio TAC, or Northeast Ohio, Parrot. Did I not put a disconnect there? You know what? Let me do that. I didn't change the alpha tag for the disconnect. Let me do that. My bad. Want to definitely know that's there. Okay. I'll just use DISC. That's just as well. You know what that means. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to plug it back in and program it. So this is what you got to do, folks. You might make a little mistake here and get confused, but hopefully you'll catch it. But yeah. Okay, and this helps me remind myself. I'm reminded of something I wanted to tell you guys. You know, I do read a lot of the Facebook posts, and there's a lot of guys that are getting frustrated. They just, you know, it's new to them, and you know, one guy just, you know, wants to sledgehammer the whole thing, and I get that. I just want to encourage you all to stay the course. It's not that hard, and just stay positive. Just say, I can get this. I can figure this out. There's a lot of help here. Don't despair. I mean, I'm reminded of you know, days I went to engineering school, and I remember just being so overwhelmed with all the content that I was having to learn, and I remember that you know, I just felt like, oh man, I'm getting snowed under. I can't figure this out. But one thing that kept me solid was I just really believed in what I had the ability to do this. And I mean, if you're an amateur radio guy, you've got the talent, you've got the skill set, and there's a lot of help around. I mean, that's one thing. You've got lots of resources. I mean, we're at BridgeCom. We're trying to help you guys as best we can. But you also have clubs in your area. There's a massive community growing out of DMR and all these digital modes, and we're here to help one another. So I just want to encourage you, don't despair. There's a lot of help, and it is something that you can learn. And it's different, I get it, it's different than the way we all learned analog radio, but it is something that's new, it's exciting, and I just want to encourage you to keep positive, stay positive. So anyway, because you're going to make mistakes and you can fix it. And it works. So anyway, unplugged it. I'm going to go back over here to the Ohio mode. Okay, I've got the Ohio TAC, Northeast Ohio, Parrot, disconnect. There's the disconnect I just added, and then go back around the circle. Okay, but now keep in mind, I can't talk on this channel because I don't know what that is here in my area. So I'm going to go over here to my zone, my KCI zone, and I am going to I added this channel. I've got the Papa system chat, the Florida, which was previous. Now I've got my, I guess I keep touching, I got the Ohio, statewide, Ohio TAC, Northeast Ohio, and back to, and a disconnect, and a Parrot. Now what I state here, if we follow, going back on the notes here, you first want to use the Parrot to test your connection, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this radio off this so that I can make a talk and a QSO here real quick. I'm going to try to hit the Parrot, KC0QVT. Okay, repeater not found. All right, try it again. KC0QVT. Okay, I didn't hear any audio. Now, this leads us to a problem that you might be experiencing, and I'm going to show you how to address it. And this is something that we found out as we were doing these live streams of late, because I'm like you, well, I don't hear nothing. Something's wrong, you know, I can't get into the repeater. Well, what could go wrong? All right, you want to triple check everything and make sure it's entered correctly. You could be out of range of the repeater. Try moving to a different area in the house, or go outside and key up. The repeater could be temporarily down or no longer on the air, and repeater book has not been updated. This happens. You want to check with the local club or other hams and see what's wrong. The talk group info is wrong. It just may be the network won't allow this certain talk group to be used. Anyway, those are a possibility. Now, I know what's wrong in this case because I just happen to be in a bad spot right here, and for whatever reason, I cannot get into this repeater reliably. However, I'm going to walk about 3 feet to the right by this window, and Joe's going to follow me, and I'll get in. So let me walk over here. Let's see. KC0QVT. Maybe. Let me try it again. KC0QVT.
KC0QVT.
Okay. Now, I'm 3 feet from that spot over there. But if I go over here, KC0QVT. Okay, it's all digital. Yeah, I got half that. Try it again. KC0QVT. Yeah, it's not even happening. So keep in mind, that could be your problem. Just move. Go somewhere where you think you're going to hit the repeater. In my case, you know, I got to go 3 feet over to the wall. I don't know why. We thought it might be the lights in the studio. We turned them all off, and that didn't seem to work, but it just seemed to work if I walked over here. So, Joe, I'm going to walk over here, and I'm going to raise up Ohio. I'll try Ohio statewide. Well, actually, I'll try Ohio, the TAC channel, and see if anybody's on that. This is KC0QVT monitoring Ohio TAC. Anybody copy? KC0QVT. All right. I'm assuming this repeater's on the air, okay? All right. I didn't get that, or nobody's come back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the disconnect. Okay, I just hit it, and it should disconnect. I should get a response back.
Not linked.
It says not linked. Okay, that's a good sign. And by the way, I'm talking on high power, which is about 5 watts. Okay. All right, now I'm going to try Ohio. This is KC0QVT monitoring Ohio. Anybody copy? Okay. Now, Ohio, there should be a link for all those repeaters. Could be nobody's monitoring. There's some.
This is WADR last station.
Okay, I got
your call sign, so go ahead and come back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is KC0QVT, Kilo Charlie 0 Quebec Victor Tango. Who's this speaking?
Call sign here is W8DR, Whiskey 8 Bravo Romeo.
Whiskey 8 Bravo Romeo.
How are you today?
Huh. Hey, yeah, this is Ron, KC0QVT. I'm doing great. Just checking the traffic, seeing how it's going. I'm calling in from a repeater here in Missouri. Where might you be calling in from?
Well, I'm located near Fredericksburg, Ohio, and I'm transmitting into a DMR repeater in Johnstown, Ohio. About 1 hour due east of Port Columbus Airport.
Okay. Well, very nice to meet you, Whiskey 8 Bravo Romeo. Again, my name's Ron, call sign's KC0QVT. I'm located just north of Kansas City, Missouri, keying into a repeater just north of me, about 5 miles or so. Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear. I'm on a 5 watt HT, You're sounding really good, and I appreciate the comeback.
So what I like to say about DMR is when it works great. When it doesn't, it doesn't. It does have its quirks. I kind of enjoy it. So, fun.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Well, anyway, listen, I'll talk to you later. Thank you for the comeback. KC0QVT clear.
All right, 73s. It's W8BR.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't raise up Kilo 8 OAD. I don't even know what repeater I was on, but somewhere in Ohio. But that's what you do, folks. But the man said it. It's got its quirks, but when it works good. I think that with digital, you have the it's either on or off, and that's why you sometimes hear the digital sounding, or sometimes it's broke up, or it's either there or it's not. So anyway, that is that. So Dave, you should be able to hit that repeater on Ohio statewide, if nothing else, and that's what you do. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this second repeater that we're going to profile, and it's going to have some different things to consider that Brandmeister doesn't. So I'm going to tab over to the show notes, close that out, and we're going to look at the second repeater. Now, the gentleman that profiled this repeater is J.D. Knopp, Kilo Echo 5 Juliet Kilo, out of Montgomery, Texas. He's given me permission to talk about what's going on here. So I'm going to open the link in a new tab, and it's going to take me to another repeater listing. And this repeater is November 5 Lima Uniform Yankee. Now, a lot of things are similar to the Brandmeister. However, this one's got some differences, okay, that are key. All right, now, color code of 3, that's just arbitrary. DMR ID, that's what the repeaters. It's the IPSC network is the Lone Star network, okay, so it's not Brandmeister, okay, and the Lone Star network, I believe, is C-Bridge. Okay, now a C-Bridge is effectively a private network built around a bunch of moto turbo repeaters, okay? Unless this guy's got a way that he's linked in Brandmeister on this network, I can't just talk to this guy, or I can't talk on this network. Now, if I was in proximity to this repeater, which is in what looks like Houston, Texas area, I'm gonna just quickly show how to build up a code plug, but I can't test it here in my area unless I actually had a link into that repeater through a network. Whereas if I had a repeater in my area connected to the Lone Star network. Now, it might be there is a talk group that might get me in there, and I'll check this real quick. But you've got a talk group list. You've got worldwide, North America. Now these are all different talk group numbers than what we might be familiar with Brandmeister. You can see that they've got talk group 3 is North America and talk group 1 is worldwide, whereas in Brandmeister that I believe is 91 and 93. TAC 310, DCI Bridge. So I'm not, okay, Texas, okay. This might be a way to talk on this repeater from where I'm at, is using the Texas statewide. I suspect this repeater, if I was to key in on Brandmeister on 3148 through the local repeater in my area, I bet I could raise up this repeater, which is on C-Bridge. But I don't know that. But I'm guessing I can do that because I see that it's 3148, and we know that 3148 is Texas statewide. But that's what I would do. So it looks like it's an open repeater, time slot 2 only. They only want you on that if you're local to it. And the call sign is November 5 Lima Uniform Yankee. So JD, what I would do is I would go over here. I'm going to go open my code plug, and I'm going to create a channel. I'll just create it on 14, and I'll look at the credentials. Okay, I got the receive frequency is going to be the uplink frequency of the repeater, or the downlink frequency, I mean. So it's going to be 444.75 and 449.75 on the transmit. So I'm going to key up on that. So I've got repeater, okay. Color code 3, set that. He says time slot 2 only. We're going to change that to 2. So we're going to need the disconnect, okay. We'll go ahead and put that one in there. And then I want to create a talk group for Texas, which I haven't done yet. So I'm going to do that real quick. So this is going to be Texas. Group call 3148, okay. So that's in there. Now I'm going to go back up to my channel list, and I'm going to, so I'm going to put November 5 LUY Texas. Okay, and that's going to be my disconnect. And I'm going to copy that, paste it, because I've got a lot of the same credentials. So we're going to have, actually I need to put more intelligence in the alpha tag. So I'm going to put DISC. And then we're going to add a parrot. We always want a parrot for a repeater, just in case, because that kind of helps us keep our sanity. Let's put that in there. Okay, and then I'm going to add another channel, and I'll put Texas statewide. I'll just, okay. And that will be the new talk group there. So, okay, so those are the 3 channels that I would do to test a repeater. Okay, Texas, I'd put it, the Texas statewide, the parrot, and the discriminator, or the disconnect. Okay, then you want to create a zone. I'm going to just add an, so if I was going to go down to Texas and talk on this repeater, I'd just put N5 LUY zone. And then I would put those 3 channels in there. Okay. And then I'd write it to my radio. Now I'm not going to be able to talk on that repeater because I can't. I'm not in there, and I'm not in Houston, of course, but here I'll just write the radio. And copying, booting, okay, and I created a zone. There's my Ohio for that repeater, there's my local repeater, and my Texas repeater that I just did, and you can see there's the parrot. That's, I guess I missed the 5 there. I can go fix that later. And there's the Texas disconnect. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I just realized something. I'm going to go back to my zone over here, KCI, and I'm going to walk over here. Joe, if you want to follow me, I'm going to disconnect. I remember something I forgot to do, so I'm going to I should disconnect from the KCI repeater. Okay, that freed that repeater up. All right, well, I'm going to handle questions, but before I do, I just want to remember I want to remind you what could go wrong. You could have put the wrong credentials in. Just double check everything. Go to repeaterbook.com. Just make sure everything's tip top. You could just be out of range. You saw I'm just in a bad spot in this building. Okay, walk 3 feet to the window and I'm in. And even then I was somewhat iffy, but just try walking around. If you're in a dwelling of some kind, it just could be you're in a bad spot. That probably happens more often than we know. Okay, the repeater could just be down. You just double check to see if it's even there. Then I would ask Dave, to make sure that repeater, he should be able to hit the parrot with that repeater in Cleveland. Because if it says they're on the air, and the talk group info could be wrong. Just maybe the network you're on won't allow certain talk groups. And that's something about the Seabridge is those guys on that network, they have a lot of control. They can block talk groups. They can block DMR IDs. They can prevent traffic on certain channels. I mean, there's a lot more control over that. Whereas Brandmeister, pretty much, you put a Brandmeister repeater on the air, and it's really up to. I mean, it's pretty much an open repeater, and you lose that specific control. So, got some questions?
Yeah. First from Gordon Kelly, he says that we need to get BridgeCom products in the UK.
Nah, okay. BridgeCom products in the UK, all right.
Then from Alden Jones, my COM port is not coming up for my 878. How can I fix it so I can program my radio? And he does say that he's rebooted his PC and tried on 2 different computers.
Okay, that's a common complaint. Or I can't get the COM port. The radio doesn't seem to register. Okay, just quickly, the COM port system to talk to the computer and the radio is built around what's called a virtual COM port. The driver that's installed on your machine is called GD32, Golf Delta 32. Okay. Early days when this radio was released, there was a massive amount of problems, and it was due to a lot of Windows signing. Now, the problem could be one of that you've got to make sure this connector is seated well, okay? It's got to be set, it's got some friction, you can tell, but you want to make sure you press that all the way in, okay? Sometimes you think it's all the way in, but the best way, just take it and just, press on it just to make sure it's properly seated. That could be the problem. Then, when the radios, if you're on Windows 10, and I don't know he didn't indicate which operating system he's using, but Windows 10, which is what this tablet computer is running, when you turn on your radio and plug it into and it's all plugged in nice and good, Windows 10 should be smart enough to know to go out and fetch the correct Windows signed driver and put it on your computer. We found that out through experiment and almost by accident that we were working one day with a brand new Windows 10 computer, connected it all in, and we got because we were having a heck of a time with some of these COM port, when people would go in and manually install the driver, that it would just hose the computer, hose it we found out that if you just let Windows do the job, it'll do that. Now, Windows 10 should do that automatically. Yeah, Dan Easter says also make sure the screen is on the radio itself when you plug it in. That works. Yeah, you got make sure the radio's on, of course. If you're on Windows 7, you may have to install the driver, but you also want to right-click and go into administrator mode and do all of this. There are videos on BridgeCom University and I think on YouTube where you can go and look this up. You've tried several computers and you're not able to get it to work. Have you tried a Windows 10 machine? That should that should be the telltale that if it works on, you know, find out on a Windows 10. But that has been a pain in the butt. Let me tell you, it's just because Windows has to figure out how to talk to it. The solution, there's these $100 notebook or tablet computers on. Okay, Alden says he has Windows 10 and the screen is on, and just make sure it's connected. I mean, it's possible that the connector on that radio is not good, or I mean, that's another possibility. I'm not certain where you got the radio, but if you got it from us, I mean, we can warranty the radio for you. Is it a brand new radio, or have you had it for a while and did it used to work and now it doesn't? It could be, you know, you got some wear and tear on it, but these radios have a 1-year warranty, and that's really what could go wrong.
From the blind picker, is the disconnect talk group 4000?
Okay. Okay, Alden says he just got it from us. Okay. Okay, Alden, I think that if you were to make sure you don't have anything else connected. Like we found that sometimes if you have, you might have a COM port conflict on your machine. If you got another cable connected to it, like chirp or something like that, we've seen issues where there can be some confusion. So I would try to narrow it down to just that one COM port. And if worse come to worse, we can replace the radio. Okay, I hate to say that, but because you just got the radio, but you know, we don't inspect these radios, every one of them, before they go out. They generally are in very good shape and we just take them and you ship them out. Go ahead, and what was the next question?
The blind picker asks, is the disconnect talk group 4000?
Yes, the talk group disconnect is 4000.
Holy Damon says, is the CPS the only way to write to the code plug, or can I add a frequency in talk group using the front panel?
Yes, he asks if the CPS is the only way to be able to manage your programming information. That's not true. You can do it from the front panel. It's a bit more cumbersome. You generally have to have a pretty decent familiarity with how the radio works, but I've done that, and yes, you can. Yes, you can manage the radio from the front, but it's a bit more advanced. But I've done a video, some live streams back where I've added talk groups on the fly and channels on the fly, so you can do that. But I'm not going to get into that in this live stream because it's pretty involved. Okay. Somebody asked, what is the PAPA system? The PAPA system is a massive network in predominantly California, Southern California. They are a pretty decent group of guys that have put up, I don't know, a lot of repeaters on various digital modes, particularly DMR. I think they've got some D-Star, 220, just a massive group of guys that are all about amateur radio and the various modes, analog and digital. So, and they've got some talk groups assigned specific to them. So
that's all I got.
Okay. Well, Dave, KD8 DLT, I hope this will help you get on that repeater. You should, with that code plug or those channels, that should get you on there. I did the exact same thing I did to talk to the repeater here locally. JD, I think you did have some success the last time I looked on the Facebook thread. And you just said, lo and behold, it worked. Okay, but anyway, that is how you build channels. It's sort of cut and paste after you get it figured out, but you definitely want to pay attention to the credentials of the repeater. So we're at about an hour now. I'm really glad you guys stayed with me. I hope this helps you. I'm going to continue to support the radios on these repeaters. I'll be monitoring Facebook over the week, and hopefully we'll have some more questions. I'll come up with another topic for next Wednesday, but in the meantime, happy repeater hunting, and you should have the tools you need to connect to your local repeater. So anyway, this is KC0QVT. My name is Ron, and I'll be signing out 7-3.